What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Welcome Out Wait. And on this episode of Deliver Me to 1,000, it is our 10th episode of Deliver Me to 1,000, and it's going to be for the Uber date of Thursday, October 14th, and today was a day, let me tell you. So essentially what happened was, I started off a lot of, North Pinellas County, and delivering over towards, the beaches, delivering towards more North Pinellas County, and I delivered to some very, very nice homes, some of which I delivered to that area before. It directly overlooks one of our major beaches over here. And the home, it's an easily multi-million-dollar home. And I love going up and seeing, especially because they're usually all glass. You would get to see directly into the house. So I don't want to sit there and stare into the person's house. But as I'm dropping the food down, taking a look glances, I'm like, oh, I like the kitchen. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, wow, look at that door. So I'll sit there. It's like, I just noticed the cool aspects of it. And then it gives you ideas and stuff, too. And she's like, oh, hey, I really like the way they have, this statue or something set up. Maybe that's something I want to do. Maybe, hey, they have this cool-looking little, piece of technology or something. Let me see what that is. So it's just, it gives you ideas and stuff. And it's just also, it makes you really excited because, I'm delivering a multi-million-dollar home. This is a very nice, beautiful home in a nice, beautiful area. I'm not delivering to somewhere where somebody's going to come out and stab me at any moment, like some of the other places that I deliver to. However unfortunate that may be. So he gets excited. It's just, it's a big treat like that. But I delivered a lot over there. And then as I'm over in kind of I'd say Clearwater-ish area, I get an order and I notice it takes me all the way up to Oldsmore. So I was like, fuck, okay, cool. So I go all the way up to Oldsmore. And then all these orders were very, very good. This is the best I've done in quite a while, actually. I'd say maybe even since I started the series. It's been a couple weeks at least, but today was definitely an over $100 day. It was very, very good. So it was, I very much enjoyed today, but everything was a lot of big orders, 10, 12, sometimes 15. I think I even had a $16 order at one point, and I must have been on my A game. I was very nice to everybody I met. I was very prompt to, listen to my podcast, but making sure I was very deliberate in the routes I was taking, the way I was going, for at least for the most part, I'd say. And I got significantly tipped more so than I was already doing. A lot of them, again, were more affluent, nice areas, so I don't know if that had a factor to play in it. I'm sure it did to at least some degree, but I definitely got tips. So say I made a $15 order, somebody would give me $18. I think there was 2 orders, and they were, of course, the smaller orders, so just like a McDonald's or something. I don't think I did. I'd say maybe, trying to think of where it exactly was. I think Subway or something like that. Just your simple orders aren't the ones that I got tipped more on, which is, again, completely understandable. But anything special or anything I had to go a long distance or drive really quickly to get there, or I had to meet the person and got to talk to them directly, I got tips usually significantly more. I'd say anywhere from $3 to $5 more. So I'd be making, instead of a $13 to $15 order, I'm making anywhere from, let's say, $18, $19 orders or something along those lines. No $20 orders yet. So usually it was, like I say, between $3 to $5 more. And but it was pretty good. Definitely a pretty great day. And we did 9 orders. So that's an average of over $10 an order. Pretty fucking good. I'm pretty happy with that. Especially this week was just an amazing week to begin with. But yeah, I delivered to Oldsmore. I delivered over there. As I was coming back, I got a couple orders. One of which, unfortunately, was canceled. It was to a Baskin-Robbins. And as I kind of pull in, it's very hard to find. I'm driving in, and it directed me to a Walgreens. I was like, this is a Baskin-Robbins. This is a Walgreens. So I was like, okay. So I'm trying to figure it out. And then I Google Maps it. And it says it's at this building over here. And I pull over to where it says. I'm looking directly at it. And I'm like, yeah, this is a Subway. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to go around the back of the building, and I go, oh, there it is. And it's around the back, in the corner, behind, all the bushes and trees. Unless you were, directly in front of it or on the small little side road, you would have missed it completely. It wasn't visible like Dunkin' Donuts. So I go in, and the gentleman who, and I don't like making, judgments at first appearances. That's not something I traditionally do, but it gives me a sense of, my first instinct is probably pretty good. I'm usually pretty good with deciphering people. So I walk in. The guy doesn't really seem like in a good mood. He's having a hard time trying to express himself in the way that he's trying to explain. He's just like, yeah, and kind of has an attitude about it. And I was just like, I don't think this guy has great people skills. That's kind of the first instinct I'm getting. And sometimes I could tell him oh, somebody's having a bad day. It is what it is. I delivered to from a burger place, and the lady was nice, but you could tell she was kind of having a bad day. But him, I felt like he really didn't have any people skills. He just kind of had that feeling about it. And as I was talking to him, or he was, more talking to me. He's like, yeah, well, we can't do the Sunday because we're out of this, and then we're also out of this. And then let me look. Yeah, we don't got that ice cream either. And then for the second one, we don't have this, and then we don't have the ice cream for this. And then he balls up the order and he goes, so they're gonna have to cancel. And then he like Kobe's it and shoots it into the basket. And I'm just kind of like looking at him like, oh, so I was here for like 3-4 minutes while you explained all the things you didn't have just to tell me you gotta cancel it. So I was like, oh, okay. I would think, I'm not gonna get angry at the person. That's not, that's not the way I roll. And I just kind of took it, moved on. I was like, oh, okay, well, hey, man, have a great day. And he's just like, yeah, you too. And walked away. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, great. So that it confirmed that his communication skills were not the best. And I was like, oh, this explains a lot. This makes a lot of sense. and I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. It was I think like $11 order or something like that. So I was like, oh, yeah, that sucks. But anyway, it was taking me back towards Tampa. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm at least then heading towards the right direction. Pinellas County, it's taking me Hillsborough County. I was like, that's not going to work. So, but at least that was good. I'd have to go. There's been times I've done that and went around the whole like Bay Area by land and not taking any of the bridges. And I've, ended up in Tampa and had delivered to Tampa before. And it was usually pretty good nights. So I was like, fuck it. If today's going to be that day, today's going to be that day. I like that. So I did that. Now, but I ended up not delivering to Tampa. I came back again, delivered to some nicer places. A couple burger places, ice cream, variety of things today. And then finally I got to, again, another very affluent area. And the houses ranged, I'd say, anywhere from like $750 to like multi-million-dollar homes. And I pull up and there's this big stone guard tower, and they had a private bridge going off to like this little island area. Essentially what it was. It was part of, I believe, St. Pete. I believe that's, the area it was in. I don't think it was Clearwater or Pinellas Park. But it was part of St. Pete, and it had like its own little area. And I'm like, oh, this is very nice. And I pull in, I'm like, oh, this is very good. And then the lady I ended up running into, she was the person I was delivering to. She was, kind of off-put. She was kind of like hopping around a lot, checking a watch, taking the phone out, putting the phone back. So, I hope everything was all right with her. But I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it was a very nice area, but she was, kind of, it's something I had to keep my eye on. I was like, oh, okay. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing really great. And she seemed kind of like, frantic. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I, scanned the IDs. They had, a bottle of wine, whatever they had. I believe there was some snack foods and whatnot too, like fried ravioli, some little appetizers. So I was like, okay, cool, very nice lady. But like I said, just being a little frantic. So I was like, oh, okay. And as I was driving around, I was like, oh, these are very nice homes. Again, it's always good to see like, nice areas, something cool, how things are different. And just seeing some, really nice stuff, especially again, as an Uber driver, when you're driving around. And sometimes you don't feel safe in certain areas. Like if I drive up and then everybody's sitting there staring at me and looking at me as I come and I knock on somebody's door, people feel like you're maybe infringing on their home, and that's a very dangerous feeling to give off to people, especially late at night. Like if I'm pulling up, 1 o'clock in the morning there and everybody's outside in the neighborhood and they're doing their thing, or they look out their windows and I see everybody looking at me like, who the fuck's this kid and why is he here? Some people could feel, threatened. And again, you want to be very calm and understanding, especially when you pull into an area. You should listen to your intuition and feeling with things. Like I remember I talked about the one time I pulled up to one of those houses and I was like, I don't feel comfortable just kind of sitting here. Everybody's kind of looking at me like, and there's a difference between feeling that you're being looked at, and then I kind of look around and I make eye contact with like 7 different people. I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's looking at me. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, they're just wondering what the fuck this kid is doing here at 1 o'clock in the morning and at their apartment complex. But it is what it is at that point. So when you're in an area like that, you should make sure you feel safe and take precautions and don't violate your safety. Like obviously you got to be reasonable and not be like, I'm not getting out of the car for any reason, unless you generally don't feel safe, at which point you should call someone and say, hey, listen, you got to come get it. XYZ reason, I don't feel safe getting out of the car. Here's what it is. Or if you really don't feel safe, you just cancel the order. Say, hey, listen, there's no safe place. There's an option for that in Uber. So you do have to take your safety very seriously. Like there's been places I delivered to with very large dogs outside, and usually I'm definitely not one to shy away from a large dog. But there was one time where he was on the leash and he was barking and attacking and kind of hitting his head against the side of the car, and he was reasonably close to where I needed to deliver the order. Come to find out, that was not the right house. So I was like, oh, great. I made a big mistake. That's where the GPS put it. I believe that the person had put the wrong address in. It was like apartment B or whatever, and they GPS marked it for apartment A or something along those lines. And then it was my fault, of course, for not checking it. But again, you want to make sure you feel safe when you're delivering. It's, I understand it's extra money. It's nice. People are counting on you to do it. But there's no reason you should go and violate your safety or potentially get hurt delivering food. It's not that serious. I'm very someone who wants to go out of their comfort zone and do stuff. But if you're just like something, inside of me is saying this is the wrong thing to do, usually listen to that voice inside of you. But again, these areas were very, very nice. Definitely didn't feel that way. Felt more joy and excitement being like, wow, what the fuck is that? Oh my God, that's like a house over the garage and they got a separate thing. And I'm like, this is cool. And they got like 9 fucking carports. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And there's some nicer cars and stuff. Being somebody who likes looking at that, and especially very financially conscious, I like seeing like, wow, like I could appreciate the fact that probably took a lot of time, money, and effort to get something there. And also being, I like to feel a creative person. I like how people design things and set stuff up. So it's just something that makes me feel pretty good every time I see it and fills me with a little bit of that joy. So that was very good. I enjoyed that a lot. I delivered to, then finally, the last order I had done was a dual order. It was doing IHOP. It started off as $11, and then I added like another $6 order, and it was on the way to my second delivery. So I was like, I'm gonna take 5 minutes out of my time, make like $1 a minute. Fuck it, might as well. That sounds great. And delivering, people very nice. Again, that one, the first delivery was in a neighborhood. Everything was kind of dark. I understand why some neighborhoods just don't have streetlights. But I delivered to one of them. It was, no issue. Walked out, put the food down, took a picture, walked away. There was a house earlier today where it was kind of like the bush rustling, and it could have been the wind or it could have been something else. And I was just, I'll leave. Especially around October, and you hear things. And I'm just like, I don't want. I'm not taking my life into my hands delivering a pizza today. But yeah, and then finally the last order I had delivered to was to one of those like Holiday Inn type things. It wasn't a Holiday Inn brand, but it was like a Holiday Inn, just small hotel chain. And as I go to the front door, put it down, it says at the front desk, the front door is locked. So I'm looking and it says front lobby will be closed from 12 to 7. And I'm like, okay. And I see there's like a full sign out, and this gentleman's like sitting in the corner. And I was like, oh, maybe he's cleaning, maybe they do whatever, at night. Maybe that's when they wax the floors or however they set up their time. So I said, okay, I gave him the call, and the lady was very, very nice. Younger lady, she was, again, very nice over the phone. She didn't have an attitude. She was, apologetic, even though, again, it wasn't her fault. And I was like, oh, I said, no problem. And she goes, oh, can you, leave it there, this, that. So as I'm talking to her on the phone, the gentleman comes over, and I said, hey, am I able to leave it here at the front desk? And he goes, no, definitely not. We don't accept orders at the front desk, and this and that. I was like, oh, okay, I'll tell her to come down here, I guess. I said, I'll meet her somewhere else. And she goes, no, I'll come down. She goes, you could just leave it on the floor. And I was like, no, I'm not going to leave the food on the floor. Like, if she was aggressive or didn't answer the phone or something like that, then, maybe I would have done what I needed to do at that point. And the 8-minute timer ran out. But again, it was the last order of the night. She was very nice. So I said, you know what? I said, I will be more than happy to go out of my way and stand here for the extra, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and meet you and hand the food off to you. So as I was waiting for her to come down the elevator, Jim was staring at me, make sure I didn't just leave the food. But, again, what it is. If she was aggressive or angry or whatever, I would have left it and I wouldn't have cared what he said. I understand everybody's policies for a reason, but if it's going to seriously infringe me doing my job, then, your policy has to go. I'm sorry. And when she came down, she was very nice, a younger lady, and she was, very happy to accept the order, and she was, oh, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, so it's very good always seeing people happy, good, joyous people. Especially as the last order of the night and end off on a high note. And I believe I was tipped extra for that one too, for, providing a good service. So overall, very, very amazing night. This is one of those nights, again, this whole week was basically one of the kind of reasons, just like, I really enjoy doing Uber for this reason. There are definitely times, like I mentioned episodes back, where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then there's other times it's just like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is definitely one of those moments. And Uber is someone who likes to drive around, someone who likes to, listen to podcasts and music, meet new people, talk to people, experience new things, see new areas, find new food spots, and make money, of course. I really enjoy doing Uber. When I feel like I have to do it and I'm making very little money, that's when it becomes more of a hindrance than a help. But it's definitely, I think this week was amazing, maybe because it's hockey season again, but I'm very, very grateful for this week. This week was very amazing. I had a great time, and this was an absolutely amazing way to end out the week. We're at now, I'm just going to double check real quick. We are at 988 out of 1,000, so we're doing pretty good. So, yeah, it's a great way to end off the week. Very high note. Made a lot of money, which is great. And at 988 orders, and got to see some great stuff and talk to some very grateful people. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, or whatever platform you're on. Make sure you DM or follow, and let me know, just have you guys ever had like a really great week at your job with anything? Doesn't have to be Ubering, but just like a really great week that like, this week was very, very good. Let me know in the comments below, or DM me, or have you to set it up on the platform. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Peace.